So what I'll do is just click on that to launch Pro Tools. I'm going to just call this Rain Falls podcast demo, right? And down here, we want it to be wave. Now bit depth, we want 24-bit. And the reason we want 24-bit is it's the amount of information, or the quality of information, is that bit depth. And then when we go to, we have our sample rate here. So I always like to use 48 kilohertz. So what 48 kilohertz is referring to is how many thousand samples per second, right? So kilohertz, how many samples per second. So in this case, it's 48,000 samples per second. So that way, again, it's a quality thing of getting that many samples recorded. And then the input-output settings, what I'm going to use here is, say, stereo mix with this here. And what I'm going to do here too is just decide my location. So I created this location right here. This is where I'm going to put my all my stuff. So I'm going to say, hey, go right in here. And that way I'm already organizing it. So now you can see here, it's going to go into that podcast class, today's class, stereo mix, right? And then I just hit create. It's going to just build this all up, right? So here's my mix panel, right? And as you can see right now, it's totally blank. There's no, before we saw that mixer with everything, now it's blank because we don't have any tracks yet. So saving the session is really just Command S. Anytime we need to undo, it's just Command Z, right? So anything we do, and this really goes for all software, but I just wanted to mention that Pro Tools will work in the same way. So Command S to save, Command Z to undo. So under File, then we can import things. So we can import our audio, and we can import video. And under track, this is where we can add the different tracks. So in our case, we're probably going to need 4 or 5 tracks. So we'll start adding some of the tracks here. So I'm going to say new, and then this pops up here, which is new track, and then we can decide how many we want. So with what we recorded, it was I did record it as a stereo track. So we'll call it, we'll do a stereo track of our vocals. Typically they'll be mono, but off of the Zoom recorder, they came in a stereo. And then we can decide how many we want. So, already we know there's some birds, cars, rain, thunder, right? So I'm gonna say, let's do 6 tracks in total, right? So I'm just putting the amount, stereo, audio track. I'm gonna say create. And now what's happened is, and zoom back out, you see now we have 6 different tracks represented by each of these. Audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And now, when we go back to the mixer, see now we have 6 tracks on the mixer. So we don't have to do anything to load the mixer. It just automatically takes each track you created here and creates a corresponding mixer view right there, right? So let's zoom in here. So here's our tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And zoom out. And then same with the clips here on this side. Anything that we import is going to be represented here in the clips. So all we need to do is bring stuff in here, and then we're going to drag it where we want it here. And whatever's on this timeline visually is where it's going to play, right? So if our vocals start here, and then we have some sound effects start here or here, right? So wherever we want it, this is the fun sound editing part of this. Okay, so let's start bringing some of our tracks in.